Hello and welcome once again to this Red Gaming Tech video, myself and Marta. Now I know it's been quite a while actually since I have graced this channel with my wonderful voice, but I am still alive, just been in the background doing the editing for Paul's videos and just cracking on with being an adult, as much as being an adult kind of sucks. Anywho, as usual, we're going to go through the latest tech news from the last 24 or so hours as of the 29th of February. Can I just say quickly, January felt like it went on for about 10,000 years, but February has gone ridiculously quickly. Anywho, we're going to begin things now with Project XCloud. So, before I go any further into this topic, I just want to give my usual warning that this is a rumour in giant Hollywood size letters. So, according to Brad Sams, we're going to be seeing Project XCloud being used to allow players to stream PC games kind of in a similar vein to that of Geforce Now. So obviously this would be on console itself. So unfortunately that is it for the details. This is a rumour. According to Brad, Microsoft are currently working on the feature and we're expecting an announcement soon. That's it. So will we see this at E3 or sooner? Probably E3. And we'll get to why I think that is such a strong case in just a moment. So we're going to move on to our next topic, which is sort of kind of related, and that's actually regarding GDC and GTC. So let's go with GDC first, shall we? And this news is not at all going to be surprising, as a bunch of people have pulled out of the conference, including Microsoft, PlayStation, EA, Kojima, Blizzard, Epic, so many developers and companies to name. They've all pulled out because of concerns. I literally cannot say the word or this video will get demonetized. Yes, I think that's ridiculous. Why did you ask? Regardless though, GDC has been officially postponed, unsurprisingly. They have said, quote, after close consultation with our partners in the game development industry and community around the world, we made the difficult decision to postpone the Game Developers Conference this March. Having spent the past year preparing for the show with our advisory board, speakers, exhibitors and event partners, we're genuinely upset and disappointed to not be able to host you at this time. We want to thank all of our customers and partners for their support, open discussions and encouragement. As everyone has been reminding us, great things happen when the community comes together and connects at GDC. For this reason, we fully intend to host a GDC event later in the summer. We'll be working with our partners to finalise the details and we'll share more information about our plans in the coming weeks. Now, for those of you, I doubt any of you watching this have paid for a pass or anything like that, but if you have, they do have some frequently asked questions on their website about refunds, etc, etc, and they will be announcing their official plans regarding this soon. So, what about GTC? Well, Nvidia have said that they will not be cancelling over concerns, shall we say. They've told crn.com, and of course you can find their article linked in the description below this video. They said, quote, GTC is officially on. With the concerns, there were some concerns about other events around the world. It's one of our most important events and we plan to host it, and we believe it will be just as important, if not bigger, than the ones we've had in the past. So, at least at the moment, GTC is ongoing. Now, for those of you wondering if they're going to be taking any precautions due to the concerns, yes, they will be taking some, and there's a page linked in the description below this video where you can read all about what steps they will be taking at GTC. So, they are not taking this willy-nilly, but they're not cancelling the event, which is not at all surprising to me, to be honest. So we're going to move on now from that to a couple of things from Jon Peddie Research, the first of which is regarding AMD. So, what they basically show is that AMD did very well for themselves in the last quarter of 2019. So obviously we saw several Navi cards launched on the lower end of the scale, which are obviously more affordable than the flagship cards at the moment, which are obviously 5700 and 5700 XT. But they showed a growth of 22.6% in shipment volume compared to Q3 this year. And this is pretty damn significant, especially when you remember that Nvidia's shipments actually decreased by minus 1.9%. So AMD saw a significant increase and obviously Nvidia saw a decrease. Intel also did see an increase, however it was a very, very small one, 0.2%, and this overall increased their market share by 3%, which means they now have 19% of the overall GPU market share, which just, and I do mean just, passes Nvidia, who have 18%. However, unsurprisingly, Intel does have the lion's share at 63%. Now, one thing I do want to point out, because I know you're already probably going to be typing this out in the comments, this does include integrated and discrete GPU, so obviously this is going to be boosting the numbers as it will be counting APUs and mobile processors, but that is the case for Intel as well. When you look at the discrete GPU market share, because that was just for the CPU, obviously things don't look quite so rosy. Nvidia have a huge chunk of the market, 73% against AMD's 27%. But the report also went on to talk about PC gaming in general, as well as specifically about AMD. And they did say that the overall PC market increased by 1.99% quarter to quarter, an increase 3.54% year over year. We saw an increase in desktop graphics from AIBs that use discrete GPUs, and that was an increase of 12.17%. We also saw an increase in tablet shipments if you're interested, and the overall attach rate of GPUs, which is both integrated and discrete to PCs, was 130%, which is up 1.8%. So the TLDR is that we saw an increase, quarter over quarter, but when it comes to year over year, it was a ever so slight decrease. We're going to move over now from AMD to their arch nemesis Intel. Now this is just a small thing, but a cool thing, as Intel have updated their graphics command center app, and they have now added video capture for games and broadcasting features, obviously trying to get on the same level as Relive from AMD and GeForce Experience from Nvidia. So basically same as those apps. You can record your screen, gameplay, you can save the recording or stream to things like Twitch or whatever. Now for those of you wondering how you can actually get your hands on this, it is currently distributed through the Microsoft Store as a beta. So if you want to give this a crack, give it a whirl. So now we're coming to the meat and potatoes of this video. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5. We have quite a few things to get through regarding the console, unsurprisingly. First of which is regarding a report about a potential reveal date. So essentially this is kind of like a collective thing. This is not one source saying, hey, a reveal's coming soon. Although we have of course had various reports here and there about how we're going to be seeing a PS5 reveal from Sony sort of February, March time, and obviously it wasn't February because February is basically over. It is over as of the end of today, so you know that still leaves March up for grabs of course, but basically we have a kind of collection as I said. So the first of which is regarding some comments from the Godfall developer Counterplay Games. So Counterplay have basically said that they should expect some more news about the game, quote, really soon. We've seen some things from Kojima, which I'll get to later, which are kind of hinting at a PS5 reveal event that could be happening next week. And they've also said, that being Kojima Productions, that they themselves are going to be making an announcement next week. So obviously that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be seeing this reveal from Kojima Productions, whatever it ends up being, and again we'll get to that in a minute, is going to be tied to any sort of PS5 reveal. It could just be, hey, here's a trailer for our new game that we're working on, or here's a teaser, or a screenshot. Here's a drawing that Kojima did while he was on the toilet. You know, my point is, it's not necessarily tied to a reveal. This is kind of flimsy logic, to be honest, that, hey, all these developers are saying they're going to be revealing stuff soon, it's going to be at an event. I mean, yeah, it could, but it could also not be. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. Again, this isn't the first time we've heard that we're going to be seeing a reveal from Sony early-ish this year, but Sony don't seem to be in any hurry. We'll have to wait and see, of course, if it's going to happen next week, because, well, I say next week, like it's ages away, it's like Monday. Monday is technically next week, so we'll have to wait and see, of course. The next thing is actually something regarding the controllers. Now, obviously, Sony have already confirmed that the controller for the PS5, obviously most likely going to be called the Dualshock 5, is going to have haptic feedback in some form. That is already a thing that we know exists. But according to an article from My Drivers, this is actually going to be achieved thanks to a magnetic fluid adaptive trigger. And there's a pretty nice write-up about this on gizchina.com. You can find this linked in the description below this video. It was thanks to them that I saw the My Drivers original, which is not in a language I can read, but it will be there linked for your perusal as well. So, reading from GizChina's report, it says, quote, a magnetic field is a functional fluid, magnetic fluid, sorry, not field, is a functional fluid that changes viscosity under the influence of a magnetic field. By controlling the strength of the magnetic field, soft to hard performance can be achieved. Magnetic fluid using nanoparticles has better performance in sedimentation and wear, and has good controllability and response speed. There are already many videos of magnetic fluid toys on the internet, but it also has extensive potential in engineering. A few years ago, Sony introduced magnetic fluid speakers. If players can feel a resistance change when pressing the trigger, it is easy to think that the players can distinguish the trigger strength of different weapons. So, again, this is just a report, and even if it is accurate, obviously this would just be how Sony is achieving the thing that we already know that they're doing. But still, it would be interesting, and if it as responsive as the article makes it sound, it could really actually be very interesting. And especially if you do need to put different pressures on the trigger to fire certain guns, because obviously a big heavy gun like the BFG, for example, from Doom Eternal or whatever, you would most likely have to put quite a lot of pressure on it to fire a gun that large. If a gun that large was to even exist outside of, like, you know, it being mounted to a tank, for instance. So that would actually be really cool, and just a little touch that adds to immersion, little things like that. So let's move on to our final topic of today, which is something I want to discuss just because I'm interested in it, if I'm going to be real with you, and that's regarding the tease from Kojima Productions. So, this is suitably cryptic from Kojima. So basically, it is a tweet. It says, working on the next concept while no one is in the office. And as you can see, it's his laptop in front of a larger monitor, which has a hill of sand on it. And he mentions that no one else is in the office, obviously. And there was also another tweet from the head of communications, Aki Saito, and he says, sorry to be silent, everyone. I've been really busy lately, but I can say more soon about what we're going to do. So, as you can see in his tweet, there's a pad in front of him, and on that pad it says, next week. And some people have pointed out that if you zoom in, he's using like a Pyramid brand pencil. I can't see it. I guess I'm more blind than I realise it, even though I do wear glasses. Clearly I need an upgrade in my prescription. But regardless, all of these hints are obviously pointing to Silent Hill. Now, as much as I would love this to be true, I would be extremely surprised if Kojima were to work with Konami after what they pulled. I would be shocked. I guess if they came at him with enough money, maybe he might agree to it, but I would still be surprised. I mean, we don't need to go over how they treated him. It'd be here all day, and this video is already going on quite long. But, I mean, if we can get a new Silent Hill game, and we can get Silent Hills revived, and get Junji Ito back, please get Junji Ito back. When they announced that he was going to be doing the creature design for Silent Hills, dreams were made of that. So hopefully, but I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. I'm cautiously hopeful, cautiously. It may even be a horror game that's a sort of spiritual game, a spiritual successor, I suppose you could say, to Silent Hills, not actually with the branding of Silent Hill or whatever, because Kojima has been talking a lot about doing a horror game. Or it could be Silent Hill. We'll see. We'll see. The thing on the pad said next week, so not long to find out. Anyway, guys, that is me done for this video. It's a bit of a long one. Long for me. Don't normally go almost 15 minutes, but here we are. Anywho, that's me done. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.